Hello, internet. Hello, future me. Today is Monday, 4th of December, 5:42 p.m. CT. Um, this is me procrastinating. Had a few things to talk about. Oh, um, first of all, uh, what am I doing right now? I so I think I'm at this stage in my career where I have to start building up experience, especially through internships, although jobs would be more ideal. But yeah, I did, I think I talked about this before. I did an internship at lab doing breast cancer stuff. Most of it was backseating, so it wasn't that good. But now, the thing about the way I vision myself as a biologist is I always want to be kind of all rounded. I want to be both in the micro and the macro level of biology. So now, this internship and the internship I'm going to do next is on the macro level, where right now I'm doing basically taking care of plants, specifically Bromelia family. So there's like a whole greenhouse um, with a bunch of different Bromelia genus species, including pineapple, although there's no fruit. Uh, Maybe because the pot's too small and also it's not that season. Maybe. Who knows? But yeah, just doing that, taking care of them. Mostly it's like just snipping off dead leaves. Um, Sometimes they need repotting, so all that stuff. There's a bunch of cockroaches living in like, especially the decaying ones, which I just cannot get over that. Like, there's ones with a bunch of ants, it's still gross, but ants I have more experience. But cockroaches, one of them actually crawled on my hand. Although I had a glove, I still feel the little feet, and that was just a little too much for me. But yeah, they are small cockroaches at least though. Not like those big ass Japanese ones. But yeah, so there's that, and yeah. Oh, and then the next internship that is definitely happening is do, 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 studying the lichen. So this is all happening at a city zoo. So the next internship is about observation and researching the different lichens present in the zoo. And lichens are fascinating thingy. I mean, they're not species; they're symbiosis. So I don't know what's the technical term. Uh, Symbiotes. I don't know, but yeah, lichens. It'll be interesting. I tried to do it once in high school, but it's very hard to tell if it's mold or lichen or just moss. So I think this will be a good opportunity for me to be able to, recognize lichens better. But yeah, there's that. And then there's no other thing confirmed, but this is my plan for biology career right now. I think my first thing I want to do is get a job related to biology. I think I'm at the stage where I can't keep doing just random jobs. Although I enjoy doing different jobs throughout a little history, I guess. I think from 14 I started working. My first job was at this Saturday school, where in Japan it's a school where you teach English to kids who in elementary who usually go to public Japanese schools, so they don't have like an extensive English education compared to international schools. So that's like a way to kind of compensate that. But basically, yeah, I was like a staff. Um, they have this like summer program where instead of just Saturdays, it's like 2 straight weeks of uh, English school. So that was the first thing I did, and then I continued on every Saturday. I did that for 7 years. I started from seventh grade summer, or the end of seventh grade when it was summer before eighth grade, I think. And then in 1911, 12, all the way through. And then another year after that, because I took a gap year before coming to college. And then basically that was not just being like a staff for teaching. Well, the whole idea of being a staff is you're younger than the teacher, so you're kind of the bridge between the teacher who's usually older and the kids. So you get basically more time with the kids, and you're like, well, in my case, I would be kind of like a big brother, but also making sure the kids are in line, not just having fun. But yeah, I did that, and also there's different staffs as well. So I was mainly afterwards in the PE, swimming for a while. Um, the swimming staff was only up until like my 3 or 4 years of working there, because initially the whole school was at the Saturday school was happening at my middle school, high school. But then something happened. They had to change location and move to a different university campus where there was no swimming. But I call the swimming period the golden age. The Saturday school then was the best. It wasn't like we're still doing work, but it never felt like work. It was just so much fun. And yeah, swimming staff was definitely the best. I did that. And then afterwards, I did a bit of student staff, but mostly PE, I think. PE staff, doing stuff. Um, yeah, and then I had to leave for university, going abroad. But yeah, I did that. And then other work I did was tutoring. I took tutoring in. I did mostly through my school, because for kids like in younger elementary. When out, actually, this was only my last year. I think my senior year, I did some tutoring. I tutor like almost every day different kids, but I don't remember getting that much money. I swear there was a parent that didn't do much, kept dealing the pay. But then, I mean, I think I still should have gotten paid properly, but I didn't do anything with that kid because that kid was kind of crazy. He never listened. But the one thing he did was read, so I made him just read. And then I would just fall asleep next to him. But yeah. And then there was like another kid I would teach science, but it's hard to teach science to, on like a younger level. So I was just spurring out a bunch of different stuff, and I don't think I was a good science teacher. I think I'm only a good if I'm teaching science, I'm only good with my level. I cannot teach someone younger than me. I just don't know how to. It's not even simplifying. It's like choosing what concepts to talk about. I mean, I guess you get a actual curriculum to teach, but with tutoring, I never use any curriculum. I just like winged it, but that was a fun part. And Uh, after after graduation, I did continue tutoring one kid, I think, and I even babysat him once or something. But yeah, that was it. And then I also did tutoring for these two brothers. One was in middle, or both middle school. One was middle school, one was sixth grade. Through my Saturday school. Very great kids. I think they were the best two T's. Uh, the older one, he was very good at absorbing content, absorbing knowledge. The younger one, he was still very smart, but he's like the a little troublesome kid, but he was very cute and like listened very well. And they're both very fun. And then there were situations where they get kind of sleepy, so I used to make them do a little push-ups or put their face out the window like cold air to wake them up. That sometimes help, or jumping jacks or whatever. But yeah, cause I don't have I think, I mean, I don't want to say I'm not good at teaching. I think the reason the kids wanted to continue tutoring after a while, like they didn't stop. I like tutored the brothers for like a year before I had to leave, I think. They really, well, according to them, they really enjoyed it, even though it was even online. So, um, I think I did a good job, I want to say. But I do have a very monotonous voice, so it's fair that they might fall asleep. And that's the same with me with lectures, you know. I have great tutors, but sometimes I just fall asleep. I can't help it. But yeah, anyways, the point was, um, what I really liked was, with either of them, I never follow curriculums with what I tutor, but I would like plan stuff out, and I had this very interesting system where throughout the teaching, if there's any word the tutee, the student, doesn't know, they would put it at the back of their notebook, and like after 20 words, instead of continuing whatever we're teaching, we'll spend that week looking over the words, and then after a week or something, I would make like I would make an actual vocabulary quiz, including figuring out definitions, like choosing multiple choice definition, writing a definition, oh shit, writing a definition, writing a sentence, and then looking at a more applied, like some words might be in the form of a picture, so it'll be like choose a picture or whatever. I think that was a great thing I did. And yeah, I also had other quiz. Oh, and also the really smart one that absorbed everything. Like I started teaching him like I started teaching him stuff that would help him in the future, like how to write essays. Very fundamental, including what are connectives, how should an essay be formatted, which is introduction, body, conclusion, with the whole idea, topic, sentence. And usually, at least for introduction, you want like a summarizing sentence, and so on. So yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. But the thing with tutoring is it's not a good source of income at all, because usually you can only have one student a day, and each student's only 2 hours. Although I had a friend who she had like this whole tutoring system that was good enough income for her. I don't know what she's doing now, but she was making pretty decent money. So there was always that path, but I never amounted anything. And now the thing is, I've done so much teaching already and also my parents are teachers, so I don't really want to go the teaching route in my future. Although it makes the most sense since I'm kind of a jack of all trades, master of none with biology. Like a high school biology teacher makes so much sense for me. But no, I would not do that ever, hopefully. Um, but yeah. So there's that. And then when I really started doing different things was uh, after graduation, I decided to take a gap year. And during the gap year, I wanted to accumulate different varying experiences, not just jobs that might help me in the future. Well, I believe any job, any experience is going to help me some way, shape, or form, especially through soft skills. But I wanted to just do something I would never do. So some jobs I did was, well, honestly, the really unique job I did was excavation. Basically, digging all day, 7, 8 hours, I think. Just digging, or it's not like shovel, it's more scraping down a hill, removing each layer of soil from humus to whatever the next one is. And then sometimes there'll be something. There was one time when I was digging this root, but I kind of gave up and moved away. And then someone else went to that root and started digging more. And then the artifact was there. Like, damn. The missed opportunity. Yeah, I dug a lot, but I never found anything. And sometimes the jobs were not even digging. It was just helping building like a bridge or stairs so that the workers can walk down or past some trench or whatever. So sometimes it's not that bad, sometimes it's cool. And it was like I wouldn't say a macho environment, but it was a very male dominant environment, which um, I don't know. Being in Europe, there's so much negativity to that phrasing, but it was just fun. It was just like most of them were like really old guys, but there were some younger ones, and it was just guys chilling out after every break. There's like a 5 minute break every 30 minutes or an hour, I don't remember, to rest. And it was very nice. I enjoyed it. Yeah. But before that, the first different job I did after I graduated was I worked at Costco. And I thought working at a food court would be fun because it involves food. Maybe I get to take food home, or I don't know. I thought it wasn't going to be that bad, but to this day, I think that job was the hardest. Maybe I would be more well equipped now, but at the time, Saturday school was never it could be a challenging job, but it was never intensive. Costco was a very intensive job, and we were of course forced to work the weekends sometimes or every week. The thing is, there's 8 hours of just no casual chit chat. The breaks are all separated, and the breaks feel so short while the working is so long. And basically, there's so much things to do consistently. There's no time for breaks. And while you're doing something, you hear someone shout the next order or whatever. So in the back of your head, you have to think about, okay, that has to happen next, while doing something else. While usually, whatever you're doing has multiple steps, like getting the soup, wiping it. Well, you'll have to go to the ice cream stand next, or get a slice of pizza, so on. And then you gotta think about all this and how it's plated, whatever. And then there's sometimes customer interaction. The only one I remember was this guy who was pissed that there was some marks on the soup cup, and it wasn't like it was a newbie that just made a mess with the cup, but it wasn't that bad. And the guy was pissed. And I'm like, I couldn't give two shits. And I was like, whatever. And then someone, a senpai of mine, was like apologizing and stuff. I was like, whatever. That was an interesting experience. But the thing with food court was you weren't just doing serving. Sometimes preparing doughs. Sometimes you're doing heavy stuff, carrying stuff in boxes in the freezer from the storage backyard all the way back, or throwing away stuff. There was so much happening, so much to do, so much to remember, like measurements, how much, like the ice cream, I just can never do it right. There was so much going on. The pay was, I think, decent. The thing is, I'm getting paid way more here, although my work right now is very inconsistent, so I hate that so much. But yeah, that was crazy. And then after 2 months, I think I left. Yeah. I also joined that job with a friend from high school, but he was doing a different department, and he seemed to enjoy that. And I should have done the same thing. I don't know why I didn't. It would have been so much more fun if I was working with my friend. Instead, I was basically in my own thing. It was basically we were I'm replacing like with basically, but I was just doing a different job. We were in the same building, but also our times were different as well. So yeah, we really weren't working together. So it was not a fun job at all. But it was such an extensive job that the other jobs following that seemed a lot easier for me. So in that sense, I would say it's good. Like the job I have now, right now, it's not bad at all, but some people do complain. Some people complain about the managers, and I don't see anything bad about the managers. And I think that's because I have I don't want to say lower standards, but I've had managers or someone more experienced being a really shitty uh, like mentor. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. The Costco work. The first day, the person who's trying to teach me, she kept like shitting on me so much. Obviously, the best way to do um, the best way to interact with that is this. I think a very Japanese way, but treat that as something normal. So it doesn't increase the tension. You just say yes, yes, sorry, yes. You work hard, as if the shitting on wasn't really shitting on, and it kind of works, but it's still not a good environment to work in. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's Costco, the worst job ever. Japanese Costco, that is. I bet other Costcos are better, probably. I also fucked up the sausage. I think I kept making people serve. I was boiling the sausage, or it's not just thawing, warming up the sausage, and I forgot there's like 3 boxes, and I forgot which sausage was the one that was ready, and I think I was serving sausages or hot dogs that were still cold. It was still edible. The sausages were pre-cooked, so it's not the end of the world, but also um, there's a chance that sausages weren't that warm, or it was like not thawed enough. But it's whatever, it's done. I did that for 2 months, and then I had a little break, or I moved on quickly to excavation for another 2 months, and then after that, I basically didn't do anything for half a year. But didn't do anything still meant I was tutoring and Saturday school. So during all that, I was still doing the 2 other jobs, Saturday school, uh, and tutoring. But that didn't really feel like a job. That was fun. So after a while, I through Indeed. I always use Indeed. I found uh, what was it called? Like security. Well, it's called KB, which means security, but it's a little different from other places because security in Japan doesn't mean making sure there's no crazy people attacking whatever you're protecting. Security more means more more of keeping things in line, making sure. Well, for example, one of the job was to um, allow cars to leave the road at the right timing. So you'll have the red thing stopping the car, waiting for the cars on the road to move, and then you'll say go, and then you can let the car move from the parking lot into the road so they can leave, or enter from the road into the parking lot. And the whole idea is you want to look at different places here, look at the lights, see the right timing for the car to move without making the car wait too long. Because between the parking lot exit or entrance and the road, there's the sidewalk. So there's all that. And sometimes when there's too many people, you have to stop the people so the car doesn't have to wait too much. There's a lot of it's a simple job, but then there's a lot of complex things if you want to do better, you know. So it's an interesting job, and that was one part of it. The security also, I did a lot of work at the baseball stadium as well. The main one, I guess I can say, Koshien. That's the big one, and that's included checking for make sure the customers don't bring in anything dangerous, but also customers couldn't bring in alcohol for some reason. Oh, I mean, made sense. It uh, made the guests they can't be too drunk because they might go crazy while watching baseball, and also probably so that they would purchase the beer that the stadium is selling, so the stadium makes money. So it was part of that, and then after the entrance closes, we would patrol around, and then I think it always ends in when the game is about to finish, go in front of the fence between the audience seat and the stadium and sit or stand there so that the people don't rush towards the fence to try to see the baseball players closer. Whatever. It was interesting job. I met some cool people. Um, I don't know. It was all right. The main guy, or like not the I guess the manager for that the baseball stadium job department. He always like asking me some English stuff because his daughter was learning English or whatever. It was a fun guy. But yeah, but the funnest part of that job was when I got to work at the Olympics. So because I was basically the only English and Japanese speaker at that workplace, I was immediately chosen to work there. So for a month, I think. Yeah, for a month, 4 weeks. Yeah, 4 weeks with really good pay. We would work at the Yokohama Stadium during the Olympics. For it was also baseball. It was security, just security, but more extensive. Not extensive, more serious, I guess. Where we got to use those X-ray machines, which was cool. I got to learn what the screen shows and how to decipher different items within a bag, and it's in different colors. I can't remember what. But the thing I realized is it's still very hard to recognize certain objects. I always thought maybe the airplane ones are different, but the machine was still like very high quality. But basically, I always thought in airports it's very easy to identify items, but when I was using the machines, it was not easy. I mean, like scissors or knives, it wasn't too bad because the shapes can be distinct. But when there's a lot of metals or whatever, sometimes you just have to take away some items from the bag and put it through again, so it's easier to see if there is actually scissors. Yeah, a metal detector, yeah. So well, that was a cool job. But the best part was, well, the first thing is every day was a 12-hour shift, so that's a little hard, but most of it was just chatting with coworkers, which is cool. And it was nice that I had like my little younger people friend group because it's mostly older people. But like talking to older people, it was really cool because I really respect the boss of that work. He's like constantly working. I mean, I don't find that lifestyle ideal, but he was constantly working, and he just sleeps at moments throughout the day because he's always working because he's managing the company while also being like working at the same level of his employers. I think he is the boss. It's hard to tell because I know there's like another manager who does other logistics, but anyways, but also he lifts, like he's like 50, 60 something, and he lifts and he's like very buff as well. Very cool guy. And he used to be a chef as well, which is very cool. I think in Australia or wherever. And then he moved back here, to do the security job. And then there's this other like OG guy who's also old, and he used to sell tofu, but that got bankrupt, and because apparently he was like too generous all the time, which is, if you're going bankrupt, I think that's the best way to go bankrupt, being too generous, being too nice. And then he was also a bodybuilder, so he was telling me different workout techniques and what muscle target. I honestly don't remember at all. That was fun. But the thing was, because it was Corona, there was some complicated. Well, the job wasn't planned well. Not our company, but the Olympics basically didn't plan the jobs very well. So we got overstaffed. The not the arm, it's not really the army, but the Japanese army stepped in to work the same exact role we had. So we were overstaffed. So after 2 weeks, we basically didn't have to work at all, despite still getting paid 12 hours of, it was 2,000 yen per hour. So that was really nice. So we did that. And then we went to do different stuff, going out to nice restaurants that weren't too expensive. We went to watch a movie. I think it was Black Widow. I mean, it wasn't a good movie, but it was cool to know that I was watching a movie and I was still getting net positive income. I was getting more money when I came out of the movie, even though I paid for the movie, because I was getting paid every hour, 2,000 yen. So that was fun. I really enjoyed that. Um, it's not always when I can hang out with like real Japanese guys around my age, because I'm usually in an international environment. So I really like that. Um, yeah, that, and I did that for 4 or 5 months, I think. Um, I was in. I like that. And then after that, I had to quit everything to come here. And the first year, I thought I would have enough money and I could just focus on acclimating to the new environment because I never been to Europe in the first place. I decided to live here for the next 3 years. So the acclimation did was a challenge, honestly. Um, if I'm being honest, I'm still trying to acclimate to the culture, and I'm failing miserably. Uh, but it is what it is. And then damn, this is a long video. Um, anyways, 1 year passed, and then the second year I started searching for a job. But the thing is, I didn't realize there's so many legal, and being an international student is very difficult to find a job, in my opinion. At least I struggle. I know some people say it's not that bad, but the only way I found a job was through a friend. So I searched, I applied to so many things, and I never heard about the job until my friend told me about it. And they are not, and they were also international. Because it's so much easier to find a job here if you're part of EU, but they were not. Uh, so they told me about this job, and I joined this job, which was hospitality, which I happen to enjoy a lot. Um, I mostly work at like a cruise ship that doesn't move. It's gone. It doesn't move now. It's just more like a hotel. But we serve. Sometimes serving at a company party. Sometimes it's like hosting at a conference. I mostly just carry drinks. But the cool thing about this is it's an opportunity to network if the conference or company party is something I'm interested in. Usually it's not. There was one company party I was kind of interested, which was technology for the healthcare industry. But then it was more computer than biology, so I asked around and it didn't work out. I wasn't that interested. But there was one conference held by the Swiss embassy where different university representatives were there. So I got to talk and try to get some idea of masters. And I happened to exchange like a name card from a rep from a really good Singapore university. So I guess that's always something I could check out more. Although my plan now is to stay in Europe for at least another year and maybe do masters here as well, but not this country. Uh, but yeah, hospitality. I started that at the May of this year. So it's not just the cruise ship. There's different places. It includes also the main campus as well. That was my first shift, I think, where they do food deliveries, sometimes conferences, whatnot. It's not bad, but the cruise ship one is so much more fun. Also because I'm used to the people there now as well. I'm not like a regular, but I'm becoming more of a regular there. And I plan to. Oh, okay. The thing is, I want to keep working there, but there's not enough shifts. So I applied to be a self-employer because there's also a way to be a self-employed worker to do the same exact job, which would give me higher pay, and also I'm not limited to this 16-hour per week work limit, which I have because I'm an international student, which is so fucked up. But the thing is, there's no available shifts anyways, so it's kind of a hassle. But anyways, May, June, I worked at this hospitality. It's a catering. The job isn't at the location. The job is a company that gives me shifts at different locations. So that's what I'm working in. And then I went back to Japan during the summer to do more work, which was also hospitality. I think it was also a good experience seeing the difference between Japanese hospitality and European hospitality here. And a lot of things are similar. I guess how to carry plates, how to pour drinks, so on. I worked mostly at a hotel near Universal Studios. Um, the shifts were kind of weird. There wasn't really a lunch shift, but I wanted 8 hours, and each shift was only 4 hours. So basically, I would work for the breakfast shift and the dinner shift. And the distance from my house to the studios was a little too far to go back and forth in a day. So I would spend the whole day basically in the area, usually at the convenience store where there's a seat. And the nearest convenience store with the seat was like 20-minute walk. So I would walk back and forth altogether 40 minutes a day. But I didn't do the work every day, but a day, and basically go to a convenience store, sit down, and then like sleep or do something for I think hours until it's time for my dinner, and then I'll go back to the hotel. And there's two hotels. I think my morning breakfast shift was one hotel, and the dinner shift is usually the other. So morning shift, get ready, leave, and then go to a convenience store, come back, 20-minute walk, and then go to the other hotel, do the dinner shift. And it was more like a busboy shift where I just take care of dirty plates because they're both buffets. But for the morning shift, a lot of times, halfway through my working there, I would just be in the back. I don't know. I kept taking it personal. Maybe I was just not a good busboy, or I had like a very dead face, which is fair. So I would get put in the back, or maybe just staffing issue. You never know. I never asked. And I would just do cleaning or drying dishes, which wasn't bad at all. I was usually for the cleaning the cups. The actual cleaning is, you put it through the machine. But the cups, you have to rinse it first, which I think that's one of the big differences between Japan and places like here in the West. Even with cleaning, here in Japan, or there in Japan, you rinse everything first, so it's basically clean, and then you put it through a washer. Here, yeah, you just put it in the washer straight away, and honestly, it's not clean enough. I don't think. It's just not as hygienic, to be honest. But I guess it's more of a cultural thing. I think Japan's overly clean, but that's good. But yeah, but still high on efficiency. And then there were two times I did at different locations. Very unique experience. One was wedding, so I wasn't just serving, but taking care of other stuff. The thing was, there's certain things I have to say. I was like, for a table, it was just too much specific Japanese that is also in the respect. There's keigo, the language for respect, language to show respect, which can sometimes be difficult. And I had to know the right phrasing and wording while also remembering the exact things I have to say while I was introducing. I just couldn't fucking do it, so someone else did the introduction for me, for my table, and served. And then suddenly I was supposed to make cocktails or whatever, which I never did, so I still did it, but that kind of, I was ill prepared for that job. There was so much that was expected of me without me knowing anything, because I'm so new to catering at that time. But yeah, that was a interesting experience. And first time being in I think I've been in two weddings, and that was my third one. But like, it was still like still an interesting experience being in a wedding because it's not something you are in that often. And the the whole idea is like being on the behind the screens of a wedding is very interesting. It was. It could also be that, I mean, I don't want to say, but kind of a cheaper wedding, a smaller scale. So there was a lot of uh, what do you call it? Just not prepared, just on the spot things that were happening, which is fine. And the whole idea of like after one wedding was done, I didn't do the next wedding, but we quickly started preparing for the next wedding for the other workers. And that was so interesting. It makes the weddings kind of cookie cutter and makes it unspecial, like just another thing, you know. I mean, cool, I guess. Um, Experiencing that wedding made me lose more faith in the whole wedding ritual. I mean, I guess the whole point is you love someone so much you would go through that ridiculous thing. That's it. It's a sacrifice you're showing for love. And in that sense, it makes sense to do a wedding. But other than that, I just find it such a stupid thing for something that. Well, I'm not gonna get into it, but yeah. But yeah, and then the other one was like this high-end hotel and serving. I that I was also pretty new to catering at that time. Well, I mean, it's in the same month, so it was a challenge. I didn't even know how to serve hot plates. I thought you just have to like um, just clench your teeth, you know, without clenching your teeth, with a smile, and just burn your hand. But now I know you use a cloth. But I never knew that, so it was hell for me. For one dish or two dishes. But luckily, I happened to have a table with just kids. Not because I was new, but because uh, it was originally like a table for parents and kids, but the parents wanted the kids to sit together, and I just happened to be serving for the table for kids. It made things much easier, but at the same time, I kind of wish I had a table with adults so I could be serving adults, which was a much more proper experience. But either ways, it was interesting, and I like the whole vibe of the prepping, talking about what kind of guests are there tonight, who are the allergies, who are the VIPs. That's always an interesting experience. That also, for the serving, when it's like a proper serving, well, I guess there's always prepping for the job I do right now as well. But when it comes to like actual service, I don't usually do that. It's a lot of the works here. If there's food, it's walk-in buffet. There was only one shift at the cruise ship where it was a proper serve, where we circle around the table, give the dish, and then walk out and go to the next table. It was super hectic, but it was still fun. I liked it. But yeah, yeah, it was a high end, and then there was like fireworks. It was like a special summer event as well. And then the break room had no lights, and it was so hot. I remember, but we got to see fireworks. And also all the drinks. All the drinks were in the vending machine, and obviously I didn't bring my wallet because I was working. In Japan, it's fine. Here, I always carry my wallet and phone, even when I'm working, because it's not, you never know. But Japan, it's fine. But because of that, I didn't have a wallet, so I couldn't get any drink. So yeah. I don't remember if I even drank the whole shift. But yeah, like 90% of the time I didn't know what I was doing, but I just tried to do something. But yeah, but now I have a better idea, I think, of what catering is. I want to continue that. I want to do more behind the bars. That's also the other thing. Tapping beer, that has been a bit of a challenge for me because I never get to experience. And then the thing is, I took like a training for self-employment. I'm doing at a different company, the same type of company that gives you different shifts at different locations. I took the training, even though I know most of it. I just didn't know tapping beer. And the thing is, the beer tapping machine broke when it was my like group's turn to do it. So I basically couldn't even experience tapping beer there as well. But hopefully it's not too bad. It's just hard to do something when there's no opportunity to practice. The only opportunity to practice is to do work. And I guess the best way is to work at this like football stadium event. I should do that, but yeah. But anyways, that's the history of my jobs. That was long. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. And my next shift is on the 20th. That's because there's literally no other shifts that I can take this year. But yeah. But now I really want to start going to biology. So that's my internships and my whole idea is I'm doing the bromelia internship and then lichen in January or February. And then after that, or after I graduate, my plan is to try to, well, there's two things I want to do. One is another internship at the medical research facility that I did the first internship. This time I don't want to do cancer. I'm more interested in IPS, regenerative medicine. I know that department, there is an IPS department, but I was told by someone else that that facility isn't the most extensive IPS place. It would be at another university. The thing is that university is a bit far away. And I know an internship like that, I'm gonna be doing 9 to 5, basically. So I'm also wondering how I'm gonna balance that with whatever job I'm gonna do, but we'll see. And then the second one is the job, which hopefully I get to do it at the zoo I'm taking internship in, or a connection through that. That would be my pursuit. Yeah, I got a contact with the head of the research department of the zoo, so that's my plan. And then I want consistency, consistent job from that for a year, while I want to continue the self-employment hospitality. So after I graduate, it's gonna be hella work. I gotta get the visa first, so I don't have to do the dumbass 16-hour limit, and I can do work. I wouldn't be doing anything else, but working, work one biology work internship, and then hospitality secondary work. I think that's gonna make me really busy. Well, I'll also probably do something on the side. If I could still continue D&D, I don't know what my friends would do. D&D friends would do after graduation. So maybe it's over, but we'll see. Yeah, I have a pretty clear-cut future. I probably said I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do a few videos ago, but now I have a very clear future. Although it's not a very promising, not promising, but not promising, but I don't know how well the outcome's going to be in terms of the medical research internship and the job at the zoo. We will see. But the thing is, I do not want to go back to Japan. One, because I feel that I already have connections here, and this is the best way to start building. And I just see that there are more opportunities here. If I go back to Japan, the building connections, networking, finding opportunities, I have to start from scratch. And then the second is just euro is so much more powerful that I'm gonna make more money here. Yen is just too weak. So yeah, that's that. Although the thing is, at a certain point, I would want to go back to Japan to work, or not work, but at least experience, because throughout reading research papers, I realized there's a lot of Japanese research. There are prominent Japanese researchers, especially in some areas I'm interested, which is regenerative medicine, IPS. A lot of molecular cellular DNA stuff. I love DNA. Working with that on a DNA level, epigenetic level, it's such a fascinating thing. So I think at a certain point I have to go back to Japan. If I can do something at Kyoto University, I kind of did have an opportunity, but I had to take it down because of money. But yeah, and other reasons. But yeah. But for now, Europe masters, I might go to a different country. Well, hopefully I go to a different country. I don't want to stick. I feel like if I stick to the same country for my masters, I'm gonna stay in this country forever, and that's not my plan. So, yeah. I guess that's my history of work, present and future. I think with all this talking, I think things are going good. We'll see. Great procrastination. I was planning to do like a meeting today, but we'll see. I guess I'll text my partner for the project meeting. But yeah, that's it. Got 3 homework I plan to do today. We'll see. Anything else? I don't know. I just don't want to end it on 58 minutes. I want to end it on an hour. But there's nothing else to talk about. This is a long one. Maybe someday I gotta start. Or maybe I should split the video into 2. But then that means I have to do some work. And the whole idea here is I don't want to do work. I mean, I could just upload an hour video. I don't expect anyone to watch. It's more for me. That's like, oh, someone else watched. Interesting. What is their opinion if they have one? You never know. But yeah, I just want to have a lot of experience, you know. So that's why I've done different jobs. I plan to work in different countries, go back to Japan, and US. I don't want to live in US, but I mean, I have to. As a scientist, biologist, it just makes sense that I do something there, you know. Berkeley. My grandma and my dad, I think, both went to Berkeley, so. And my original plan was Berkeley, but then, now that I think about it, it must have been financially impossible to go to Berkeley. But yeah, I wouldn't like do masters or PhD there. I don't think so. But something. I might want to do something there. Yeah, that's it. See you. Bye.